Hey guys, it's Henry. Thank you for watching. Today we're going to be going over a very common economic concept regarding fixed and variable costs. And this is very important to know because when you have a business, you're going to have both costs. If you're producing a product, you're going to definitely have both costs. And it's good to know what variable costs go into producing one item of your product. So, fixed costs. Fixed costs are costs that are going to occur regardless of you selling one product or 1,000 of the product. So this is ongoing rent every month, insurance, salary, property taxes, other items like that, things that you are responsible for paying every month. And if you don't sell a product, you're still responsible for paying. Variable costs are the cost of actually producing the product or service. So materials, piece rate labor. So for example, a shoe requires pieces of material, laces, all that stuff. Piece rate labor. So if you pay someone by the hour, it's going to take time to create each shoe. So we actually take that into consideration when making these variable costs. And if the utilities go up when you are producing more, that means it's a variable cost now. So utilities can be fixed or variable. So we look at the fixed costs over here for BRE shoes, and we have a facility that costs $1,500 a month, insurance, business insurance of $400. We get paid a salary. I get paid a salary of $4,000, we'll say. And that salary comes no matter what, because it's a salary, it's not an hourly wage. And we lease our equipment and hope to buy one day, $600 a month, and the utilities are $500 a month. And it's fixed because they're handmade and they don't require more utilities to just make them by hand. The total fixed costs are $7,000 a month, and we pay that regardless of making one shoe or making 1,000 shoes. Now, the shoe has different components: suede, laces, a sole, glue, lining, and then someone has to put that all together, and they get paid $15 an hour, and it takes about an hour per shoe. So we estimate that it takes about $30 to put together the shoe. So the total variable costs are $67. Now let's get deeper into it. Alright, so let's look at these tables, and these tables put together your fixed costs and your variable costs. So right here, this is what we talked about in the previous slide, and these are your total fixed costs of $7,000, and they are represented by a monthly figure. And again, whether you make one sale or 1,000 sales, these don't change, and they're owed every month. Now, it's always hard to break down the amount per item for when you're actually making an item and trying to figure out the variable costs, because you don't look at something and say, okay, I used about 30 cents worth of glue, etc. But this is we can make an estimated guess, and this calculator here sort of does that for you. So suede, you don't buy pieces and scraps of suede and fasten them together into a shoe. Most likely you buy a roll of suede, and that roll of suede costs you $80 as an example. And from that roll you can make 10. You make 10 shoes. And of course, you're going to use 2 shoes because you're making pairs of shoes, not selling single shoes. So it takes the cost of 80 divided by 10, and that tells you a per shoe cost, and then multiplies it by however many items you use. Alright, so laces. You buy a packet of 18, and it costs you $40 to buy that packet, and of course you use 2. So that contributes $4 to the variable cost per shoe. Now your sole, $6. You got $15 and you get 6 rubber soles, and of course you use 2. That contributes $5 to your variable cost. And you only need 1 tube of glue, and that's $2, and it comes in one package. You only need 1 for a pair, so it contributes $2. And the lining, whatever that is, you only need 1 for both shoes, and that's $10, and you only use 1. And you have a worker on the line, and you pay him or her $15 an hour, and it takes an hour per shoe because it's handmade and it's a pair of shoes. So $15 per hour, 2 hours, $30, and you get a total variable cost of $67 right there. Ooh, there you go. So every time you make a shoe, it costs $67 to make a pair of shoes. Excuse me, one unit. The price of 1 unit that you're going to sell. So let's look at the pricing and revenues here. The item price is $120. You have to sell it over $67 or you're not going to make a profit. The contribution margin, though, that is the item price minus the variable cost. So every time you sell a shoe, this is the actual profit that you make, and that's separate from the total fixed cost. And we'll get into that in 1 second. Okay, so all right, let's just get rid of that real quick. So let's say that we sell 165 shoes. So the sales revenue for 165 shoes, actually, we'll make that 400. So 400 shoes are sold times the contribution margin, and that'll tell you the revenue. So you make $21,000, but you didn't account for the actual fixed costs. So you take that and you subtract the $7,000, and you only made that month $14,000 selling 400 shoes. So that is the cost of producing each shoe and the total fixed costs. So as you make more, obviously your sales revenue goes up, but let's look at your total variable costs, because that will go up too. So your variable cost will be, total variable cost will be the per unit variable cost times the items sold. So 53,000 of that is going towards actually producing it, and you're only keeping 35,000. As you make less, now only 13,000 is going towards producing, and you're keeping 3,511 of all of it. Okay, let's use GoalSeek to find the break even. And the break even is the minimum amount of shoes you need to sell to cover your fixed costs. So this is so everything's, basically you're not making any profit, but you're not paying out of pocket either. So this is paying for your rent, utilities, lease, salary, and insurance, okay? So we're going to use what's called GoalSeek. So quick shortcut is Alt-A-W-G, and that pulls up GoalSeek. And GoalSeek is going to iterate between certain numbers to get a required number. So we're going to set sales revenue. We want that to go to 0. So we want everything to basically, we don't want to be the negative, but we want to break even at 0. And by doing that, we're going to change the items sold. So that's going to change the items sold until the sales revenue is 0. So we get 133 items sold. So to check our work, we should see that 133 items multiplied by the contribution margin should equal the total fixed cost of 7,000, and it's very close, very close. So we can confidently say that we have to sell, let's say 134 items to break even. So thank you very much for tuning in, and I appreciate you guys watching. If you have a small business and are wondering how this could be applied towards your product, just shoot me an email, and I'd gladly help you out. Have a great day.